have stories. Every single one of us. From the highest of the high to the lowest of the low, we all have stories. Exploring the world for the greatest stories of all time.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Aron O'Dowd Show.
The Aron O'Dowd Show. Our soul is the screen upon which we project our dreams. What's your story?
Hello and welcome everybody to another incredible show. You know, I was supposed to be here 2 minutes ago, but technicality is always the thing when you have a disability. Wait, did I say disability? Actually it's a different ability because we all have superpowers and super abilities, and that's what makes us super incredible. Today we have an incredible couple who work together to enhance and improve and showcase the different abilities that they are. Their names are Julie and Grant, and they are doing something amazing, which we'll find out soon. Hello, welcome to the show, guys. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning for us. We're a mother-son duo. But
even better. You know, we all, I met you in the Forbes community during a pitch, and I thought, wow, this what she's doing amazing. I gotta have in the show. So tell us, what is your challenge and why do you do it?
Who do you want to start? You want to start with me? Well, I guess it started with me. Let's see. Grant is 29 years old, but let me introduce myself first. My name is Julie Coy. I am known as the Stay in Action Mom because I have helped Grant living with autism and other students and children and adults living with a disability. I've helped them go from can't do to can do.
I am Grant Maniér, and I'm known as the eco-friendly artist because I reduce, reuse, recycle, and then upcycle paper materials to create beautiful eco art masterpieces.
Wow. So you're a mom. Tell us about how did you understand the way Grant is?
So Grant was born in 1995, really didn't show the characteristic traits of his autism, which is high-functioning autism or fully verbal autism, as Temple Grandin would call it. Didn't show that till he was about 4 or 5 years old. And it was extreme anxiety, hyper anxiety, which we call it. And I didn't understand because he looked normal, cute as a bug in a rug. And we just didn't understand why he acted out the way he did wherever we went. I mean, we were asked to leave many facilities and venues many times because Grant was hyper and very, very loud. And I still didn't understand. I understood low functioning autism, yet I've never seen anything like Grant because the whole world didn't quite understand this particular autism. In fact, it was on Time magazine's front cover, autism with a question mark and these two normal looking kids, a boy and a girl. It was relatively new. So, I felt so ignorant that I didn't know what was wrong with Grant. And then in that time, I was going through a divorce as well, which the statistics for, a marriage with autism and divorce is very high. So I was going through that too. But after the divorce, I was able to focus on Grant. And that's when he received the diagnosis at 6 years old that he had autism. And I didn't know there was a school for autism and for high functioning autism. And I found that school. I worked at that school as a teacher's aide, and they helped me learn autism, and they helped Grant through his autism. And that's where our story begins in 2003, just helping Grant find his way. And I'm just so blessed that everybody stepped up to help us because we didn't have Google either. Mm-hmm. So that's how old I am. We didn't have Google. So, girlfriends would just give me information and I'd read it and I'd realize, oh my gosh, this sounds like Grant. He looks normal, acts normal, had great motor skills, except, cutting paper or cutting. His fine motor skills weren't there. I just didn't understand, but I'm just glad I was able to help him. I didn't panic like some parents will panic and they'll depressed because their child has a disability. All I could say at the time was, finally, I know what's wrong. We know, let's work on it. Let's get this kid some help because I know he's there. So that's where my journey begins. And then Grant goes to an autism school, develops his skills, self-monitoring himself, his awareness, and his art started to flourish at this time because he was in peace at this point. So that's my journey to the point of where Grant is now working on his art, and people could see that he was talented. He could draw. He wasn't tearing paper or cutting because remember, he couldn't cut. And not until he went to public school. First, he went to a private school for autism. We got early intervention. Then he went to a public school. Didn't work out. Grant was bullied a lot. And so I was fortunate to work with severe autistic children at home, tutor them, and keep Grant at home working through software programs because he's very smart, smarter than me. So software programs, but with a lot of time on his hand, he had too much TV. So we put art back into the curriculum, and voila, this was his first piece at the age of 13.
I created this piece, and I just had to show it to Mom, and the first thing she said was,
I love it. and he made it look so easy. So I thought nothing of it. And a girlfriend had seen it, came over talking to us, and she wanted to buy it. And she said this as she was leaving. I said, well, let me talk to Grant. We thought we'd sell it for like $100. We were so excited because it was just paper. It wasn't paint, it was just paper. And then we did not. I mean, that conversation didn't go any further. 6 years later, we got hit by Hurricane Harvey because we were from Texas. So I sold it because of Grant's accolades and awards. I sold it for $8,500.
Wow. Grant, can you tell us what it's like to live with autism?
to ask the question, living with autism?
Yeah.
Living with autism, there are some challenges that go along with living with autism. For example, I have anxieties. You don't see them as much these days, but back when I was a kid, oh boy, my anxieties was like at its peak when it comes to loud noises or anything that was just stressful. I just kind of would just get, maybe at times I would get a little loud. I might cover my ears because I once thought I was hearing the crows. I thought they were all con. I thought they were laughing at me at one time. That was one point of my anxieties.
He would run.
Oh yes,
away.
I would run. I was a runner.
Yeah.
No way.
And I was a chaser.
But nowadays, my anxieties, I have matured over the years. My anxieties have gotten a bit better. I mean, they'll still come and go from time to time, not as often as they used to. But thanks to my art, it's not just working with paper and creating art. What I do is like a form of meditation. It helps soothe my anxieties.
And how do you navigate the world?
How
do you navigate the world through your art, your different abilities?
the world.
Well, that's navigating the world through my art. That's a good question actually, because by navigating the world through my art, like I said, my art is like a form of meditation. It helps keeps my anxieties under control. But through my art, I have met so many amazing people. I've been to so many different places across the United States, different states. But really, it's just the way my art has felt like it's helped me connect more and more with people over the years. I'm getting to know so much more than I thought I did before. And here's the thing, with every art piece that I make, everything that I learned from that art piece, I apply it into the next one to make it better.
Yeah.
Do you paint? Do you cut? What type of art do you do?
I don't paint. Well, actually, when we first were going to start out this, when it was a homeschool art project, I was going to try paint, but I had like painter's block. So it just wasn't coming to me. But back when I was in the school for autism, I learned all about collage art. So I thought, maybe I'll give that a try. And that's what made the Sun God. And that was just the first art piece. I made another and then another. I even entered the Austin Rodeo Eco Art Grand Championship and won 2 years in a row. I was going to go for 3, but we want to give someone else a chance.
And he continued to win. His art hung in the U.S. Capitol, representing Texas. Like I said, we lived in Texas and we now live in Wisconsin. We've been here 3 years. Grant's going to school and working at an autism center that is in film and editing. So he's learning more about that as well, the Treffert Studios. But yeah, it was just a matter of, well, let me say one thing. Recycling is affordable.
Oh, it's very affordable.
Because all that paint I bought, I remember I bought like $200 worth of paint, and he got painter's block. He had already opened the tubes. And oh my God, well, I think I still have some of them. So, that's when he created the sun god and many others after that. Let's see. These are this is Grant's calendar, so it's easy to just show you this way, the kind of stuff does this Starry Night. Right. So these are a print. Now, that's a print of Starry Night. Now watch this. Ready, Grant? Yep. This is an original of Starry Night. And if you look close, that little further like that, Grant's signature mark, claim to fame, is how he uses puzzles in his artwork. He peels puzzles in order to create this flat surface like paper. And we had no idea until we researched this a little more. He's probably the only known artist to do this with puzzles. That's peeling puzzles. And then he wanted to show you this one. When he does it, now this is new. He just started this in 2020, the first of this year, where Grant wanted to create something where students didn't have to peel puzzles because it's very time consuming. And so Grant wants to teach them how to use whole puzzles. Right, Grant?
That's right. There are two ways you can use the puzzles. You can either peel the prints off them one at a time and use the flat surface, or you could take a whole puzzle and layer them on top of one another and give it a 3D effect.
Yeah. So it's how Grant uses puzzles, which is what created this eco artist who did, well, eco impressionist is what they call them.
Tell us more about how did this come about?
Again, he was homeschooled with too much time on his hand watching TV. And I said, oh, no, you got to do some art. And so he started doing art. And this is when he made the sun god. And then he entered the contest, the rodeo contest. Let's see if I can find that one. And with this horse that he rode for autism therapy, Donjo, and he took the grand championship. And it just kept going from there. This is his Caribbean owl. And it's made, I don't know if I can get close enough, but if you can see, this is made with 65 posters of the Pirates of the Caribbean. And right in there, I think you might see the pirate ship. And that's just tearing paper and creating this art. At first, I did not like him watching a lot of television. But then I realized he doesn't listen to music, and he doesn't look up when he's working on his art. He just needed to hear the noise of the television, that white noise, I guess. And now today, Grant is an actor. So don't dismiss the fact what TV can do.
That's
Not
right.
what it can't do, what it can do.
Are you a cartoon guy, Grant, or a TV? Like, what do you like watching?
Yeah, it kind of varies, really. When I was younger, I watched all sorts of cartoons, the old stuff, really. But as I got older, I started watching more of the live action performances and stuff like that. So it really varies. Even nowadays, I still would watch something that's either live action or animation.
But he has watched the classics. So he grew up on Hogan's Heroes,
Yep,
Bewitched, Gomer Pyle, the same thing I grew up on. But he loves it, but he likes to watch the just the talent that they have in comedy, because Grant is a comedian.
There are some really great actors out there, and everything that I am learning just by watching them, I hope to apply into my own acting.
Why acting?
Why acting?
Why acting? It's just, if I really had to answer that, it's really because it just feels like a lot of fun. I remember when I was going up on stage, the best one I've ever done was Treasure Island. I played as Long John Silver, the bad guy. And I was just into the whole thing. I had a pirate accent and everything going on. It sounded like this. Just like this. You get what I'm saying? Something like that. And then just at the very end, I got a standing ovation. Just for that feeling alone was incredible.
It totally surprised me too. I mean, I just thought, wow, they told me he was good, but when I watched him, and of course we have the CD on this, I was like, wow.
There were even a
What
few.
can I do with this?
There were a few moments there I had to improvise a bit, but it all worked out.
Which it goes back to, what can I do with this? As a mom or parent living with a child with a disability, what's our greatest fear is what's going to happen to them when we're no longer here or can't help them. We must start as soon as we can to find that talent, train that talent, and I always say forge that talent.
That's right.
And he made art look so easy. I wasn't paying attention to that. That's why I said that school that I worked at and he went to, they helped us understand what we needed to do now. So everyone saw his art talent, and I thought, well, maybe I can help make a business out of it, because then we were learning how to image originals and make some prints, 8x10 prints. I thought maybe we can sell some prints. Oh, we did. And now we don't sell all his originals because they're one of a kind, but sometimes we have to, especially when you live in Texas and you have hurricanes.
Oh, yes.
So I have the highest commission piece Grant has ever made. We sold for $20,000 with Goya Foods. So we worked with Coca-Cola, Goya Foods, Children's Wisconsin Hospitals, and we, for 2025, going through the Forbes trading, we are raising the bar, and we're going to do more. But yeah, as a parent, you have to find their way. And if you haven't found that talent by the time they're 15, 16, create one, help them develop it. Because I tell Grant, I'm not always going to be here, whether that's physically or even mentally. You have to be prepared. So I'm helping him become independent as much as possible. And art is a way. It started out as a part-time job. Now we both work overtime. Yeah.
As a mom, do you wish that Grant was any way different?
Do I wish that he can make a difference?
Yes, and so the disability is the way the gift is. Do you wish and think life could be better, or I wish that my child didn't have this? These are the thoughts that every parent has. They probably ran through your mind, right?
No, because I had seen, like I said, I worked with severe autistic children, so I knew Grant had a little upper hand, and I could work with him. It was just what it is. I mean, I just accepted what it is, because I've been around a lot of disabilities, and it doesn't stop anyone. We just have to figure out how to, navigate it.
Exactly. For me, I don't know what it's like to not live with autism. It's like I got black hair, and I don't know what it's like to not have black hair. When you have something like autism or any kind of disability, all you have to do is just, nurture it, help it grow, maintain it. So that way it just feels like it's just normal, a part of you. So you're comfortable with it. And so it doesn't feel awkward.
I still have to remind him to get a haircut.
I got one last.
So I think we've always focused on the future. We're always focused on the future.
Always.
Not only in art, but he's going to school. He received his first associate's degree in graphic designing. We write children's books. This one is called Grant, the Jigsaw Giraffe. This is actually an art piece Grant made. And as we were writing this book, they asked if Grant could do the illustrations, and he was not an illustrator at the time. And so he took on a challenge, and now our book has been recognized by the Barbara Bush Literacy Program. We use this font called a dyslexia font, and it's for all to read our books, but those with reading disabilities can, let's see if I can get that in there, can read our book comfortably. Dyslexia with an E font.com. And it has sold our books using this font. The average is 60% of our sales come from this font. And it's in all of our books. So after I wrote this book and we won awards on this book, I was approached by parents if I could write a book about their child. And I didn't quite know what to do. I knew a little bit about business, enough to be dangerous. So I started writing books that had different topics. This one's dyslexia. I have autism. I have childhood cancer. that I wrote books about, but we happen to write books about people we know. This is Tori, and I just turn them into animals. This is Tori, and she has dyslexia, and she can't read the books, and she befriends Grant, and Grant introduces her to mentors who can talk to her about her challenges, and that's what all our books are about. We find mentors just like we do in real life. We help them find mentors. And then, I'm gonna have to tell you, because you're gonna read this on Grant's website. Life took a change for us in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
We left Houston because we were all locked down from COVID, so we didn't have a job, we didn't have art shows, nothing was going on, and we were invited to come to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and for Grant to go to college, and for Grant to work at an autism school in filming and editing. So we had nothing to do, we weren't tied down, so we did. And we came all the way to Wisconsin, 1,500 miles, with our cat. And Grant was having some, not coughing, nothing like that. He was hacking a lot. And we got here in August, and by the end of December, Grant was diagnosed with cancer. He had Hodgkin lymphoma cancer, almost stage 3, but he never showed any signs of pain. He was losing weight, but we thought that's because we were intermittent fasting. We thought he was doing great, and I wasn't. And so, he was diagnosed with cancer by February 2022. He was on chemotherapy. He went through that for 6 months, and I'm going to tell you, he never got sick, and he never lost his hair. And he was going through chemo. They didn't do radiation. She was going through chemo. And I was talking to Temple Grandin a lot at the time. And I just asked her, Temple, do you think the autism DNA counters cancer DNA? Because this kid has proven us wrong. But we found out later, very, very few statistics and percentage of people do not get sick and do not lose their hair. And I'm like, well, why didn't somebody tell us that going into this? We wouldn't have been so scared.
Exactly, because you hear all the stuff about cancer, and when you hear that you have cancer, I will admit I was very scared when I heard it the first time, because I've heard all the stories, the vomiting, the nausea, and all that scary stuff you hear on the television and news. But there is always a chance where it won't be as bad as you think.
I mean, we did a lot of healing. We did a lot of praying, and people stepped up. Financially, I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't going to let just people come in the house and take care of Grant. It was COVID. And so I quit working, and I didn't know what I was going to do financially, but I had faith. And sure enough, we didn't do a GoFundMe, nothing like that. We just relied on faith, I guess. And everybody stepped up. People I didn't know would buy his art for $25 all the way to $20,000. Didn't have to worry financially. And people brought us food. The news station from Green Bay came and interviewed Grant, because we had built a name and a brand. We built a brand, and we built love.
Grant, what's your dream and vision you want to leave in the world?
Right now, I wish to keep spreading the awareness of special talents. No matter what kind of disability you have, there is always a talent in there somewhere. I don't know when you'll find it, but it is there. I always believe it's there. You just need to find it. And I also have some other goals I'm working on right now. Like, for example, I'm working towards my animation degree in college, and I am continuing to work at the Trefford Studios. It's a school for those on the spectrum who have neurodiverse, learning about the basics of life, along with filming, editing, and even voice acting too. And of course, getting my voice out there as well in voice acting and acting, whichever one comes first, or both. I do like both.
Yeah. And I was going to say, so when Grant went through cancer, they asked me if I'd write a book about that. And I did not want to. I did not want to talk about cancer and Grant. I did not like those two in the same sentence. But I thought, I will write Grant's book. So I wrote Grant, the Eco-Friendly Artist. So it's really a story about Grant living with autism, being diagnosed. And let me see this page here, again, in dyslexia font, showing the challenges Grant was going through with the loud noises, and then who he is today. And as of today, Grant has raised over $500,000 selling his art at auctions, galas. And tell them what we've done, what they do with that money, Grant.
All that money has gone back into wheelchairs, hearing aids, even to first responders, organizations that serve a great cause, even camps and other forms of autism therapy. There's so much. And now to raise over $500,000, I'm going for $1 million.
Yep, gonna raise $1 million. So we're giving back because somebody gave to me when Grant was going to a private school for autism. I couldn't afford it, and yet people would, pay his scholarship for us. So now we give back and we help pay for scholarships too.
What inspires the both of you to do what you do?
He inspires me.
And she inspires me.
I mean, as a parent, every day I wake up thinking, all right, I got to get ready. I got to get ready because I'm getting old. So I got to get ready. I got to get him ready. And Grant just has a whole new life ahead of him. He's got still some stuff to learn. He's learning how to drive, and he's never been in a relationship. So that's something, I'm sure he's thinking about. So we still have some things to do and things to learn. But, he knows in the back of his mind, as I was saying earlier, I'm not always going to be here. So he has to prepare for that. And he has seen that happen throughout friends that we've had, and they've lost their mom or their dad or both. And he knows it happens.
It does. It was I would not be who I am or where I am today without my mother.
Yeah. And, he lost his father last year. So now he knows there's only one. So I really don't hide things from Grant. I try to be as honest as possible and literal as possible because he's very literal.
Yes.
And I do not hide the fact that anything can happen. I could have lost Grant. I did not even write a book. I didn't even push the business when this was going on because I didn't know if I was going to be working with Grant, in the future or working in memory of Grant. So I just laid low. But now he has passed all his post-cancer treatments. He's stronger than ever. And we're ready to rock and roll. Just like I said on Forbes Inner Circle, follow, like, and share. I'm not going to be shy anymore. I'm sorry.
Were you always shy of it?
In business, yes, I'm shy when it comes to business. Sort of. People say I'm not, but I have to force myself to ask for the sale. Where then you watch Grant do it, and he does it with ease, and he's not asking. They just do it. And I'm like, I'm doing this all wrong.
I mean, you can look at me and I could be, more of the quiet, reserved type, but when you get me on camera or on stage or anything and I start talking, like, that was a quick, sudden change.
Yeah, he's someone else.
That's, acting.
Do you always love the arts, the acting, those kind of aspects in life, Grant?
I've always liked the arts when it comes to making art and even performance arts. But I know there's other forms of arts out there as well, like graphics arts, visual arts. But recently, when I got into voice acting, I got my first demos. You can find them on this website right here, grantmanier.icanvoice.com.
That's his demo reels for voice acting. So he is a voiceover actor, and he has, in fact, we have many people who have been voices on our books. And that's our other program called the Voices of Inclusion. So when we do presentations at conferences or even online, we talk about the voices of inclusion. My goal is to turn these stories into animation, cartoon animation, and find the voices to fit the animals. And we work with individuals with neurodiversity, and they are my voices. So when I make that deal with networks, I want them to use our people for the voices. And of course, Grant is Grant, the Jigsaw Giraffe, and I happen to be Mama Jules. And it's all about mentorship. We're just mentors. We don't solve, because we're not doctors. We just help find the right person for that person who may be struggling with whatever it may be. But yeah, so that's what we do. Voices of Inclusion. We write books. Grant does art. We do presentations. We volunteer. We just stay busy. So I was saying earlier, this is not part-time anymore. This is overtime.
Autism is part of your life in many ways, and it will be from day one to when the last day ends. But is there any tips or tools if anyone is listening to this and they say, hey, I'm just recently diagnosed autistic? What are your top 5 toolbox?
Temple has taught me a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things, but Temple has definitely taught me a lot. But definitely, I definitely take her golden rules into heart. Mind your manners, find your talent, and if you find your talent, build upon that talent. Create a portfolio. Those will always help you in the long run. And not to mention, if you're an artist like me, I would say enter contests. Whether you win or lose, you will gain some experience, and you never know, someone could notice you. Like when I got my grand championship at the Austin Rodeo, just from there, teachers have been asking me if I can teach their students how they can create art the way that I do. Just from that experience alone, you can actually accomplish a lot.
Yeah,
Create
just
a business.
find even if it's a quirky trait that they're doing, like tearing paper all day long. In fact, I was asked to have Grant stop tearing paper because he'd tear everything and everyone's paper. But being a single mom, I had to go home, take a nap, and I said, Grant, here's some magazines. I could hear him tearing, so I knew where he was. I'm glad I did not suppress that quirky, annoying behavior, because if you took it away from Grant anyway, he'd scream. So don't do that. And now look what we have. And I was going to show you. So this is a book we wrote with Temple Grandin, and that's the friendship these two have.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and he teaches celebrities like Temple how to eco art as well. Eco art is a form of therapy. We teach art at the Treffert Studios and a lot about eco art. And it's just been an amazing, amazing journey from raising money to help others because someone helped us, to helping Grant become the best he can be and being diverse, not just art. So he's an actor, a voiceover actor. He has a job. He goes to school. You know, I believe in diversity. I teach my boys about investments because they know I'm not always going to be here. And I teach them what I wish somebody had taught me.
Grandin, what is your superpower?
My superpower?
That's a good question.
Well, my autism makes me hyper-focused. So when it comes to things, my mind is just set to get it done. That I would consider that my superpower, along with helping to help those who are on the spectrum as well, help find those that can help them. Just like we do in the books, we find them mentors.
And the same question to you, Julie.
I knew you were going to ask me that. What is my superpower? Love. I'm all about love. I mean, I can see someone in a wheelchair. I can see someone, struggling, and I just shower that love and find the path, or just talk to them and make them feel good, lift their spirits, find their way. My superpower is how I talk to people and make them feel good.
Wow. I have a disability myself, which is a visual impairment, but I've never seen this inclusion and only heard it until now. But I think the world needs that inclusion of, hey, forget about the disability. You have the different ability. Let's collaborate and connect and figure out how you can be who you need to be in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it wasn't called disability because I'm short. I'm only 5 feet tall. I mean, I guess some would call that a disability, but there are things I can do that they can't do. So it's like, and then tall people can do things I can't do. So let's not look at the disability. Let's look at that ability and make it, forge that talent.
Forge
it. If you could design a world, what would that world look like?
That's actually a pretty deep question.
What would that world? We would all get along.
I would definitely like to see that.
And I'm talking all.
That's right.
That's kind of a broad all. Whatever on the other side and all those drones, we'll all get along. We have to get along. It's just crazy. What were you saying the other day? You think it's UFOs because why?
Oh yeah, here? I think those drones we've been hearing about lately. I think they are maybe aliens, but I think they're just here to watch us because to them we're their comedy hour.
We're their entertainment. So they don't watch TV. They watch us. That's what Grant said. I said, Well, that's pretty clever. So I just want us all to get along. I mean, that's going to be a beautiful time. It's coming. I know it has to come. That would just be absolutely beautiful. But it's going to take a long time. You know, it's taken a long time to get there. So whatever those drones are, let us all come together.
Oh, I totally agree for sure. Grant, you're studying acting, you're studying all these amazing arts. Do you have a superhero or a hero that you look up and wish I was like them in some way?
Oh, wow, that's actually a very good question because I actually would have a few in mind, but like I said, my mother is a huge inspiration to me, so she is definitely one I look up to. But there are others as well. I've had many good teachers like Dr. Temple Grandin, and growing up, met a lot of good people as well who have helped me become who I am today. So in a way, I would say it's them, but definitely my mother and Dr. Temple Grandin are up top.
Yeah, we keep them going. Who are you going to meet in 10 years?
If I who would I meet in 10 years is me, because I want to know. I want to know how I do.
Did I make it?
Yes, exactly. Because think about it. When you really think about it, if you wanted to meet one person in 10 years, it should be yourself. Because people always ask the question, where am I going to be in that time?
So you want to meet yourself in 10 years and know where it all went.
Exactly.
If all this hard work paid off.
I wonder if you can get special advice. Your younger self can just say, "Hey, I got it. Let's go."
Yeah, exactly. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Because, you got to remember, we started this business. I do not have a business degree. I do not have an art degree. I studied a little here and there, so I knew enough to be dangerous. But my heart was bigger than a degree. I had to find his way and help him find a way. Because that's what we have to do as parents. We have to help them find their way. I've dedicated my life to Grant, but it's worked out because Grant has been supporting me since he was 15 years old. So it kind of worked out. And I've worked with other kids along the way as well. But yeah, we've had a beautiful journey and more to come, animation, more books.
Of course.
Acting, voiceovers, working with others and their voiceover talents. We won't use AI for that. We will use our people. We have to. And so we're so excited, but we had to get past 2024 and Grant's cancer treatments, and we're just ready to rock and roll.
Wow. If there was one piece of advice you could give to someone either going through autism or they meet in the street and say, "Hey, I'm going through A, B, and C."
Do you want to go?
The best thing I would always tell them is, this is something I say a lot. It's not what you can't do that makes you different. It's what you can do that makes the difference.
That's right. Making a difference is the key to just that confidence, that motivation in yourself. But as a parent, find a talent or teach a talent. I'm a seamstress by trade, and that's why Grant has learned about patterns, but he uses it in paper. So I was able to help him that way. And when he could cut paper, it just really blossomed from there. But the first thing I started doing was entering Grant in contests. I started entering his art in contests. I wanted to see what other people thought. We started doing autism conferences. I wanted to see what my parents thought, because I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or not, putting my son out there in his art. And it was so well received. People would cry at the conferences. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Teachers, we met with so many children and taught them new techniques, but definitely enter contests. That was our key to Congress, the Congressional Award, the Mayor Award, the Senator Awards, all kinds of awards. And that helps open doors for other things, teaching and selling art for thousands and thousands of dollars. But it was right. The contest, it's the portfolio, and it's meeting people, getting out there and meeting people. Don't be afraid. We've been blessed now with Restream, Zoom, all these other platforms that we can speak on without having to travel 3,000 miles. So it's the right time. It's the right time to get in there, find that talent, and help them.
Grant, what is your favorite piece of art you've made?
Oh, here
My
we go.
favorite piece. Oh, oof. That is a very difficult question to answer because each one of them has something that makes them so unique. Well, I can't choose. But if there was a fire, I grab whatever's closest to the door. But I can't tell you that my what is my best piece is always my next one. Because whatever I learn from this piece, when I make my next one, I apply what I've learned to it.
He gets better and better.
Exactly.
You're like an Olympic athlete in art.
Yep.
That's right.
That's right. If people want to learn more about you or get in touch with you and want to play with you, where can you go?
So there you go. You can find us at Jigsaw Grant. Actually, I don't see the word, so I'm just going to hold this up. JigsawGrant.com. Jigsaw, like a puzzle, grant.com. But there's a QR code. They can go to that as well.
Fantastic.
So, and social media, everything is Jigsaw Grant. Jigsaw Grant at Gmail, Jigsaw Grant Instagram, Facebook, Jigsaw Grant. I just kept it simple and easy, and it's all in relation to the puzzle. And the puzzle does not represent Grant having autism. Ironic, right? The puzzle is the way Grant uses puzzles in his artwork. It just went hand in hand. It worked out. It's called Right Place, Right Time.
Exactly.
I love it. Guys, I could spend hours chatting with you about all the art and disabilities and all this sort, but I want to say thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for
us.
having us. We really appreciate you letting us share our story and getting the word out there, and just the faith that we have in our children and our adults. There's talent out there. We just have to help them or guide them. It's there. We all have it.
Oh, yes, for sure. And guys, if you want to learn more about these amazing individuals, because like they said, there's no disabilities, there's different ability, and we all have unique gift and a superpower. And remember, if you don't know it, go find a mentor, go find someone that has experience, because we all need that gift to blossom. So stay tuned to another incredible episode, and remember, you rock and you're awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Aron O'Dowd Show, where the world's best stories are told. If you like, please post a review or subscribe to the show. To find out more, contact us at aronodowd.com. That's ARONODOWD.com. We're always ready to share another magnificent tale from the world's best storytellers. So stay tuned and rock on.